No. But do your text. All right.
Yeah.
You do your text and come right back in when you get it. I'm going to explain to the audience what we're doing today. We're going to talk about two major subjects. One would be the Willie Lynch syndrome.
I need with some problems getting in. Got in. So he's saying try again. Right. I know.
We can hear him.
But see, try again. Yeah, I had problems too, but it seemed like it's okay now. So try again now.
Remind him to punch number one. Remind him to punch one. I'll be looking for him anyway.
He's going to call in now, so I wasn't able to tell him to press 1, but look for the 919.
Yes. We could hear him talking to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we could hear that. All right. Well, I was just saying, so we don't have a lot of dead time. We don't have enough dead time. I was saying that we're going to discuss the Willie Lynch syndrome, which is going to surprise everyone with the information the doctor has. And then we were going to try and segue into the conflict down in Haiti and Dominican Republic. And we got two people that are well-versed on the subject matter. So I want everybody to stand by, and we're going to do this thing. And if we don't have enough time today, I have plenty of airtime. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So we're going to play Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to play it by ear, and we're looking and waiting on the doctor. And I'm searching, and I do not see that 919. Okay. But anyway, sister, how are you today? And I know you're ready to lay out your information.
Well, let's still try to get Dr. ASHANTI in because we wanted to try to, give him the opportunity to present the Willie Lynch information, and then we wanted to connect that to what is presently happening, of course, in the Dominican Republic, but also what's happening all over the world as it pertains to Black folks. But I think it's important that people know who I am. Just to say Empress, Sister Empress, I don't think that would be sufficient. So I think it's important that from a historical perspective that people know that I'm the founder, the originator of the historic Million Woman March. So, I don't want to just come on and talk about Haiti. There's some real significance in my presentation in that bringing the largest gathering in the world of women together, of our women in particular. For some reason, that seems to get kind of pushed to the side, and everything else is always so before that. And I have to make sure that doesn't continue to happen.
Yes. Well, sister, real quickly, the doctor called in as you started talking, and when I was going to just cut you off. I opened the line for him, and he hung up again. So I don't know what's going on. But I saw his number come up. I opened the line for him. Maybe I should have just told you to stop. But when I got here, he is again. All right, let me stop you right now. I have him. Yes, Dr. ASHANTI, are you there?
I'm here. Been here all the time. You just couldn't hear me.
All right. I'm very sorry. I apologize. I don't know if we have secret agents fooling with the line or you just have a rookie trying to put this piece together. But I'm glad that you're there now. And we're talking to Sister of the Empress, but we want to switch over and talk with you, Sister. I know you understand. We want to know a little, who are you, and give us a little background first, Doctor. And then we'll go. I understand you are a Nana out of Haiti, Ghana. You're from Ghana. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm I'm an African American, born and raised in North Carolina.
Oh.
However, I do hold citizenship in Ghana, and I am in Kosahini, King for Economic Development of the Ashanti Nation.
Okay. All right. But then take over. Keep talking.
And
you come out
in addition, I'm, as I said, I'm from North Carolina. I'm 70 years old, and I have two PhDs, one from University of Ghana, and also one from the University of Pittsburgh. I'm a clinical psychologist, and I retired from North Carolina State University as a clinical psychologist there. And I've written 48 books, and I guess the most popular one is The Psychotechnology of Brainwashing, and the other one is Root Work and Voodoo in Mental Health, and, of course, the Willie Lynch letter.
Okay. Before we get to Willie Lynch, that psychological PhD.
Psychotechnology of Brainwashing.
Yes. Now, I guess we are the biggest subjects we, meaning the black race of America, are the biggest victims of that brainwash.
Blacks of the world. Africa, the Caribbean, and Europe, South America.
Okay. All right. Well, can I ask now, what can we do to change the theme of the brainwash, or will we get into it a little later? And what is?
I think, if I may, Nana, insert for a moment, I think before we go into what we can do about it, I think it's important that we begin to understand what it is, because going to what to do about it is not going to do us the service of first grasping the what, when, and how, and then we can look at what we need to do about it.
All right.
Exactly correct.
So Nana, would you please kind of convey what is this? What is this psychotechnology, brainwashing? What is that? How did that come about?
Brainwashing is very simply, it simply means that whatever you have known or what knowledge you had before, once we were enslaved, that whole process of enslavement and our tenure here in the United States ever since, we have forgotten it because of the psychological training we got. So we never knew that we was even brainwashed in the first place. It's a very subtle but powerful thing. It's the equivalent of the psychological bum.
Okay. So now, how is that connected to technology?
How is it connected to technology?
Yes.
Oh, the psycho is how it's done. The techniques for doing it. That's what psychotechnology means. The technique for how you do brainwashing and how you undo brainwashing. That's the technology part of it.
Okay, great. Very good. Okay, Brother Ron, back to you.
So, yes. So all of this seems to start prior to birth, prior to the mother's, the baby coming from the mother's womb. The system is already set up for this brainwash process, and we're born into it. So that's why we never, and here's my question, is this why we have never been able to realize that we were being brainwashed? Because we were born into this madness?
That's correct. Now we are born into the process. It's passed intergenerationally through the mother.
Yes. Wow.
And
that's scary.
But actually, long before that, it's the Willie Lynch letter piece that first introduced my book. It's so once the Willie Lynch portion is done, such as turning the old against the young and the light against the dark, et cetera, et cetera. Once that part is done, then the system has started perpetually unless there's something to intervene to stop it and to change it back.
Now, I think before we go any further, it's important that your listening audience know, in case they didn't get it yet, there's been a lot of dialogue about the Willie Lynch letter, but many do not know, and in case, again, that hasn't been made clearer, it is, in fact, Dr. ASHANTI, probably not ASHANTI, who wrote the Willie Lynch letter. I think it's really important that folks understand that, because now we can get into more insight into the when, where, and how of it as well. How did it happen? How do we know that a man named Willie Lynch didn't actually write it? Well, the evidence is there as well. So for those who were under the impression that a white man by the name of Willie Lynch wrote this letter, I hate to bust your bubble, but no, that didn't happen. So
no, it did not. I made it up.
What was the purpose of you doing it? With all the psychological background you have, I know there's a method, or there was a reason for you to do that. And then I want to ask, did the reason work? Did it really work? So first of all, what led you to do it?
Well, I wrote it in 1976, about 2 years after I got my doctorate degree. And I used to, the young professors at the university where I worked at North Carolina College at Durham, we used to meet every Wednesday, and we would have discuss issues dealing with black history, black people. There was no black studies then, okay? Yeah. And all across the country, different cities were giving their contribution to the civil rights movement. Now, Durham, North Carolina, where I live, was special in a certain way because they had the black bank, the North Farmers and Mechanics Bank, and the largest black-owned insurance company in the world, over $1 billion, North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance Company, was there. So everywhere in the United States where blacks were being arrested, put in jail, well, the leaders themselves would come to Durham, North Carolina, pick up a suitcase with the money in it and take it back to there and bail people out of the jail and hire the lawyers for it. So I used to see them routinely. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Cleveland Sellers, Jesse Jackson. They were all not too much older than me, walking around Durham. I used to see them routinely, and so, but that had an impact on me. So in the final analysis, that was when I was like in 11th, 12th grade. Then when I went to college, it was really rough. So we wanted to make a contribution too. So the young people began to get very active. Our parents, of course, didn't want us to be arrested, but we still got very active. So I wanted to speed things up. So I wanted to start, if you will, almost a race ride between the blacks and the whites, because blacks in North Carolina are 45% of the whole state. And we still have all black cities to this day, small town. I just left one last week. So in the Durham area, the center of North Carolina, blacks we could defend ourselves, so to speak. So I thought I would write this letter, and then once I wrote it, I would distribute it all over town, washettes, car washes, etc. And when blacks found this, I thought they would get very angry, very mad, and join in the struggle. Well, I did that, put out the letter, so forth, and nothing happened. Nothing. I was so disappointed. And then eventually I just forgot about it. Eventually I just forgot about it. And then about 15 years later, or 20 years later, I went to the Million Man March in Washington, D.C., and lo and behold, Farrakhan spoke, and he mentioned the Willie Lynch letter that I had, and I recognized it. I said, how the hell did he know about that? I didn't understand it. And then I realized that people traveling through town, whatever, picked it up and carried it somewhere. And some of it, one of them landed in his hands. So by then, the Willie Lynch letter had already become legendary. There were people doing research and say it was fake and blah, 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 and others said it was real. Others said it was white people who did it. And then in the final analysis, books were even written about it. Psychiatrists were even talking about it and so forth. So I was a little afraid to come forward to admit that I made this whole thing up because just take my word for it, I was afraid. And one day I was listening to talk radio, and somebody by the name of Ron Daniels, a civil rights leader, was talking about reparations and a conference he was putting together. So I support reparations big time. So I called in to support him, and I said, by me being a psychologist, I said, have you ever thought about mental reparations also? And when I said that, look, he got very angry and very upset, and I couldn't understand why. I'm a psychologist. It's natural to me that if you brainwash and they give you billions of dollars, you would spend it overnight and it's right back in white hands again. So I know there had to be something done to the mind to change the mindset. So anyway, he just kept on going on and going on. I got angry. I said, you part of the very problem you trying to solve. And I said, by the way, I wrote the Willie Lynch letter, and I hung up the phone just like that. And then, lo and behold, about 15 minutes later, I got a phone call, and it was the host of the show. And he said, did you just call here a few minutes ago? He said, you wrote the Willie letter? I said, yes, I did. He said, are you in North Carolina? I said, yes. He said, man, I want you on my show. And that was now about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Yes.
So I was on the show, and that's when it came out, and it also hit the newspapers and everywhere. And the rest is that's part of the reason why I'm on your show now.
Yes. I heard about it from the sister Empress down in Mississippi. When she told me, I was shocked. I just my mouth opened up. She saw it and went to the internet and brought up some information. I said, my goodness, I need to get that brother on the show. And so that's why you're right. That's why you're here. Now what?
Let me just point this out. The reason it was so convincing is because I wrote it the same way the Bible was written and the Quran was written. Yeah, I repeat that. I wrote it the same way the Bible was written. And I deliberately tried. I put a very old date on it. I think it was 1712 or something like that. And then I just wrote. I had read a lot about slavery. I took the principles that actually happened and made it look like a person actually did it. That's the way the Bible was written, the same way. So therefore, and I knew very few of us. We all knew about slavery, but we didn't know what took place. But that's the purpose I did. I was trained also in psychological espionage in the military.
Oh, you wait a minute, brother. You a dangerous man. You are very, very, with all that education, you are a walking college. Now listen, I read a book called Impersonal Life, and it was written like the Quran and the Bible, and it made you feel as though someone was talking to you. And I think you described that. Is that a training that you have to do that? Well, the people that put the Bible together, they said it was Shakespeare that put the Bible together, and he had that knowledge of writing. So you're telling me there's a skill in that type of writing. It's got to be. I've read the Quran, not all of it, but I've read some of the Qurans, and it feels like it touches you when you read it.
Yes, there is a skill for writing that way. It is a skill, but in addition to it, though, the skill you just don't actually found it. I mean, you actually have to learn the technique, and you have to write as though you are talking to someone and feeling what kind of way. There is a skill for doing it, and unfortunately, I learned it. And I also put it, I still use it to this day. For example, if I was writing something for marketing, there's a way that you can use almost a psychological process, a hypnotic process in your writing to make sure they never forget. For example, right now, I don't want snakes in my plate. That's something that jog the memory and will stick. What I just said, I don't want snake. I'm not even talking about. We're not even talking about snakes. But I said something totally off key that planted that what we talk about in your listener's mind.
Okay, and that works. I assume it does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
For example, here's Obama singing Amazing Grace in that church down in Charleston. And that song is a slave song. It's the worst insult to ever be sung to African people. But we didn't know that, so we have taken it and adopted it as our own.
Oh, brother. This thing is, I know we were in a psychological warfare with these people, but I never thought it was this deep. You know, and now
deep. It would live for generations and generations, unless there's intervention. Now, I don't just talk about what was done. I don't bother to talk about something if I can't give the rules for how you change it and undo it. So I have been experimenting with undoing this thing for 30 years.
Right, and you had your hands full, I can tell you that. Did you come up with any type of plan?
Sure. That's what my book is about. Half the book is how it's done, the other half is how to undo it. But I've trained over 3,000 people over the years and becoming unbrainwashed. And for those people who didn't implement everything I was telling them then, I get emails and calls. Doc, thank you so much for what you've done for me. And I'm trying to do now what I didn't do before. 20 years, 30 years after they've had the class.
Wow. Okay, so what's the name of your books? Give me a name of those books again. The one
what I'm talking about now is the psychotechnology of brainwashing Afrocentric. I'm trying to say Afrocentric retributions, rehabilitation for ancestral enslavement. And the other one is root work and voodoo in mental health. And that's where I began talking about voodoo, which we have been taught with the devil's worship. It's actually it's a religion, and it created sanity, Catholic religion, and so forth. And it was brought to Haiti. And in 1789, they were using their religion, and they were overthrew France to make Haiti an independent country. They scared the West so bad, they began to make up all kind of lies about voodoo, and brought it. So because they did not want it in the United States, but when it got to New Orleans, here they began to make all kind of lies up about it. So they taught us through brainwashing that voodoo, which is a service of the gods, actually is devil workshop, and we run away from quote God to the devil.
Whoa, brother. Oh, I know they teach you that voodoo is bad, black magic. But then when I read about Haiti and some of the customs down there, they say that it was a positive religion, or not a religion, a way of life. And it's
a religion and a way of life. Matter of fact, again, I say the Italians copied and the Romans copied it to create Catholicism. And the Catholic religion is the closest thing to African voodoo. The robe of the priest, the rituals they do in the church, all of that they got from voodoo. And like I say, it's the closest thing to fit the voodoo religion and other African traditional religions to this day.
Wow. Well, let me ask you about Christianity as a religion. It seems to engulf all of our people. Now, I know, like you said, we were born into this madness and we don't really know. But it seems like Christianity has really captured our people. And they just can't get away from this Jesus concept of your God being on the outside rather than on the inside. What can you say about that?
The movie 12 Years a Slave and Roots, it points out the truth of the African traditional religion and shows the falseness of Christianity. It does it, but we goes over our head. We just don't seem to see it. But for example, there's a book better known as the Book of the Dead of the ancient Kemetic people or Egyptian people. You ever heard of that book?
Yes, I have.
That's the source for Christianity. It's of course the source for Islam, and it's also the source for the Hindu religion. It's the source of all the religions. Okay, but if you take Christianity, that's over a billion followers. Islam over 1 billion followers. Okay, but take the document, the major of which has been born again, which is having 10 commandments, which is forgiveness and faith. All of these things, you find them first originally in the Book of the Dead. Another name for it is the coming forth by day. You will find the tree of life also in that book. They took that book, flipped it over, and every place that where it identified us, they substitute their race, the Greek race, in it. Jesus, the name Jesus is a Greek name. White people in Detroit and in Washington, D.C. and all over the world. So now, your slave master was also white and drilling into our head. You don't even seem to know that it was drilling into our head. And the names that we wear every day right now goes back to the religion of the slave master and the Greeks and the English and so forth. You can't hard to find an African a black person anywhere. The majority of us, maybe about 98%, still wearing white names of the slave master.
Yes.
And it comes through the Bible. I have relatives right now. I have I think it's about 7 or 8 aunts and uncles. And my great granddaddy, who was a root daughter, but also a Christian preacher, named every one of them out of the Bible. And all of them walk around like James, Jones, Barbara. All these names are from the Bible.
Right.
Oh, now, since we don't know we even had a religion, okay, I know people who say, I'm so glad at least, good thing we got of it, even though they made us a slave, it showed me salvation and Jesus. Praise God for that. They don't know we still have African religions to this very day. Now, let me point out something. There's a role that religion plays essentially to build a nation. To build a nation, to heal a nation, you must have a religion. However, that religion must be the one that your ancestors created. But our ancestors did not create Christianity. It did not create Islam. All these are white religions. And so, therefore, the religion we worship dictates the name we wear, our agricultural products, our rituals, our philosophy, everything. And we'll never get it back until we go back to our original creator and philosophy. Now, by the way, my religion is Abosom, Abosom. That's the ASHANTI language for voodoo and all the others, okay? Now, I would tell you, I don't have a God. I'll repeat this. I do not have a God. And other Africans don't have a God. We have God, male and female. They're called polytheistic. And everybody on earth has polytheistic religion, but the European claim and the Turkish Arabs call theirs monotheistic. And if you look at the definition of a monotheism and God, it will say a male being of the monotheistic religions.
Yes.
And so I have nothing against monotheism. I have nothing against Christianity. I have nothing against Islam. But if we worship, I guarantee you we will keep making white people more powerful every day. Take Christianity. Look at T.D. Jakes. People like him. They multi-millionaires. Same thing in Africa. But the members of their church suffering like hell.
I can't stand a preacher. I'm telling you right now. But I see now why I don't. Spell your religion again. A-B-O?
A-B-O-S-O-M. Abosom. That's the Ashanti religion. Yes. And our God is called Enyami. And that's the male God. And our female God is Asasiya, God of the earth.
Okay.
And the God of the universe is in Sasya. And we have a symbol that we wear just like a Christian cross, except ours is shaped different. And every African country has it. However, there are some African countries that have gone so far away from their own tradition through colonialism and slavery that they are predominantly Christian. And you can go to the internet and put in African religion, African countries, and say Christianity, and it would tell you countries like Kenya, Uganda, South Africa. Oh, Nigeria is just really corrupt. Nigeria is damn near all Christian. You can't hardly find a reach that we adopt over here. Not in Nigeria. It's Christianity and Islam. And the country is going straight to hell every day because they're getting away from their country. Let me give you Nigeria produced a movie. They call it Nollywood, like Hollywood, Nollywood. And they, matter of fact, having their Oscar award ceremonies, not in Nigeria, but where? Hollywood, United States. And if you look at the people, they look like imitation Negroes or imitation white people.
When do they have this award? Is it like the Academy Award?
It's I think next month.
Oh, Lord. And what is it called?
Nollywood, the Nollywood Awards. Nolly, N-O-L-L-Y, Nollywood Awards, California. Put that in and you'll see it. You see the pictures of people up at the awards and everything. And it wasn't good enough to have the awards in Nigeria and other countries, Ghana. They brought them to Hollywood to be proclaimed that, hey, we do movies too. Brainwashed as hell.
Damn.
Even though they have billionaires in that country.
What is their excuse? They were not, well, I guess they were born into it.
They're brainwashed. Colonialism did the same thing as slavery to them as slavery did to us here. That's why I say we are brainwashed all over the whole world. You can't make a slave, or you can't control unless you have slavery and take away their religion, or you can't colonize a country unless you take away their religion.
They've done a good job. Well, since the European hasn't been... All right, go ahead.
The European has an advantage on us because they recognize their weakness. So they have to use psychological means to take control of us. We think you have to use your muscles and buzz and well. No. Matter of fact, in Charleston, here's a Ku Klux Klansman go to the prayer meeting service, sit in with them for a whole hour, and then tell you something is going to kill them all. Then come back and say, oh, we forgive him, we forgive him. That's crazy.
Yes, it is.
But it's looking for a reward in the afterlife through Jesus. And
yes.
I'm telling you now, if there ever was a Jesus, when we die and go to heaven, we'll be told to go to the damn back door.
Yes, sir. Wow, that's really hard to believe what went on in Charleston, South Carolina. Where were the youth?
That was
Where
predictable. It's happening again. It'll happen all over the whole United States. What happened in Baltimore recently after they had the uprising? They came out of the woodworks and say, don't riot, don't tear up your neighborhood. Go ahead and demonstrate your dislike, but don't burn things, don't do that. But the young people said, the hell with you, and burn every damn thing down. And Lord, the money came from right and left, and now look at all the money coming into Baltimore. This same thing happened during the civil rights movement. I know, because Martin Luther King went around everywhere preaching, preached, and loved everybody and all that. And everywhere he went, the town burnt like hell. And everywhere Malcolm X spoke, there was peace, no burning. Why is that?
Yes. you're the doctor.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Stokely Carmichael told me that they followed Martin Luther King around this country. And everywhere he spoke, they had ballers and they were setting fires every damn where. Martin Luther King didn't know it though.
Right.
So what?
I was saying that it was staged. All of those riots and burning and all of that.
Yes, it was staged. We fought ever since we've been here, and we're still fighting. But we made some serious mistakes, and I'm gonna tell you what those mistakes are.
All right.
We never, ever look at how the United States is able to conquer the world, or how it was able to keep us in slavery here for over 400 years. You know how? They created spies to report things. Look at who killed Malcolm X, his bodyguard, undercover informant. Look at who killed the Black Panthers. Informants inside. Look at who killed Khalid Muhammad.
Yes.
Martin Luther King. I have never ever been anywhere in the United States, and I've been to a lot of conferences where we've even discussed the role of sabotage and spying on what we're trying to do. And that's on purpose, because sometimes the very leaders of the things that we go behind are informants themselves. For example, Thurgood Marshall was a Supreme Court judge, and he was an informant.
He turned on the people with the decision of that Board of Education piece that he was involved in. We didn't get, when I say we, Black America didn't get what they thought they got with him, nor did they get what they thought they got with Martin Luther King in regards to the Civil Rights Act and all of that madness that went on in 63 and 64, whatever it was. We were duped into believing that he was signing papers that give us civil rights that was going to free us, and it turned out to be more of a lockdown than freedom. So I can easily see
scientific process they were using against us. Now, I watched one of your lectures today. Very informed. I loved it. It would say, where did this L, and Dale, where did that come from?
Yes.
Remember you did that lecture?
Yes, I did. Yes, sir.
I was also told myself, and many of us were told, that the religion of the black man is Islam. Remember that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would tell you the word Islam is from Turkey and Iran, white countries.
Yes.
I would tell you the word Ramadan is from Pakistan. I would tell you that 80% of Islam was taken from the Oromo religion of the Nubians of Sudan.
Well,
so therefore, not only did Martin Luther King lie unawares, but so did what's his name? The first one to bring Islam to America.
Farad Muhammad.
No, before him. That the one who went over to Egypt and was trained in Islam, then he came back to the United States, and then it was passed on to Elijah Muhammad.
Yes.
Noble Drew Ali. Ali came back with that, and then he passed it on to Elijah Muhammad, and so on and so on. There's a book I encourage everybody to read if you can read it, and it's called Malcolm X Private Diary. This is a diary written by Malcolm X after he had been kicked out of the Nation of Islam and had gone on Hajj, but it's never been published before. It's published now. And when you have as great as the speeches Malcolm ever made, it's nothing compared to this book, because he realized when he saw slavery and all in the Hajj, he said, wait a minute. Yeah, he saw white. He's supposed to see whites because it's a white religion, but they were using African sites. That stone was there on another religion in Arabia before it was Saudi Arabia. Now, every African you see in Africa was converted from his own religion to Islam. Converted. Yes. There is not naturally there, okay? And over in America, we don't know. We follow the best advice we get. And so, therefore, we have been converted ourselves. But what I'm telling you is you cannot make progress under somebody else's religion. It has to come from your ancestors. Then it will work for you.
Yeah. Wow. Whoa. You know, you throwing a heavy stone in the Noble Drew Ali, Timothy Drew process of 1928. I knew that Elijah Muhammad studied under Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali. They don't like to talk about
Marcus
it.
Garvey was also a Christian.
Yeah, well, I've never read his religion, but that doesn't surprise me.
His name was Marcus Garvey. His name was Marcus Garvey, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's a Christian name.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would take you only so far, then it crumbles.
Yes. That's been our problem. As we study to get free, it only takes us so far, then the knowledge itself begins to crumble and don't make sense. Like what you're taking me now.
It doesn't. Now I would tell you, you're not going to hear me speaking very much because they don't want this. This is no secret on everything I'm telling you because it's on the internet. It's not hidden at all, but we don't know to look for it. And when we look for it, we don't believe it. I have a friend now who's a staunch Christian. Staunch. PhD. All right? He's 75 years old. He's been on the Board of Education. He has his son is a doctor, a medical doctor. His daughter's a principal of a school. And we're good friends. So, he knows me, so I've been saying this forever to him. He came home the other night from prayer meeting. You know what he called to tell me at 10 o'clock at night? He said, guess what? I said, what? He said, my pastor said the same thing you've been telling me. And he said, I heard that before, but it came from his pastor. That's why he believed it.
Wow.
And the pastor only had half knowledge, but at least he had the nerve to say that there was a black theology. And he mentioned James Cone. Those people, James Cone, the people who wrote black theology, those people write to me, want my stuff.
How do you spell James Cone?
James, and then Cone, Cone. And another one is this guy that goes around now, with Big Fro and all this beard stuff used to be at Cornell. He was one of them too. He's what's the name?
Cornell West. Cornell
West was one of them. These were the pioneers of so-called black psychology. In other words, they take the same Bible, then they give it a black interpretation. They call that black theology. Ain't no such thing as that.
Wow. But listen, Doctor, since we as blacks had oral, our history has been oral, we don't know where to find it in books. How do we get this knowledge? It has to be handed to us.
This knowledge I'm telling you now was written, yes. And it's not all over. It's written. That's how I know it. Okay, we first invented the alphabet ourselves. We're the one who created writing, not them. And we wrote, and there are books. But you find these books at Harvard University, Yale University. You're not going to find them in regular places, okay? Then they keep it from us, and then they teach us what we should want to know, what they want us to know.
Correct.
Now, however, I went to a black college initially for my bachelor's degree, North Carolina Central University. I had already got my bachelor's degree before I found out the name of W.E.B. Du Bois. I had to teach myself everything I know. Now, the whole school of Afrocentricity, AFRIENTRICITY, and then Malicia ASHANTI wrote Afrocentricity. It's basically the same thing, but the spelling is different, okay?
Okay.
There's a whole school of scholars who know all this information, but they don't get to be the speakers and so forth and lectures everywhere. And so we do the best we can to like your show, to be on there to bring this knowledge and information out. Anything you want to know, trust me, if you can learn how to ask the question, you can find the answer on the internet. Just simply ask the question.
Yes, I agree.
And
I do my research.
Anything you have heard me say I haven't said, you will find it. Matter of fact, if you read one of the greatest work ever written by W.E.B. Du Bois, one of our greatest scholars, he wrote in 1905 that something about in the future the problem would be the color line, and also something about we are torn asunder, one African, one American. He can say that because in 1905 in Philadelphia, there were physical slaves walking around from Africa. They were conscious that they were African. So, yeah, naturally, they were torn by being in America and all in Africa. But that has gone by the way of the wayside. If you're not conscious of something, then you can't have a double conscious. You can only have a double conscious of something that you know on both sides.
Whoa. Oh, Doc, you we're going to talk a little bit about what do we do to get out of this. What can we do as individuals to free ourselves of this? I don't even want to call it madness because it's like
New messages received from Sister Empress.
It's like a sickness. What can we do?
It is a sickness, but
go ahead.
Number one, we cannot depend on the people who killed us to heal us, first of all.
Okay. And he can't, did you say he can't kill us? Doctor, I want to make sure you're there. Are you there, Doc? We're still on the air. Dr. ASHANTI, are you there?
Message is received from Rory Lucas.
Yep. Let me. Wow. Let me take you out and bring you back in. Are you there, Dr. Ashante? Wow. I got a caller up here. Let me check this caller out. Yes, caller. Area code 31. I see he's dropped his call. Area code 314-0440. Do you have a question or comment?
Greetings and honors. This is Sahel. Yeah, I got a comment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
I just further elaborate on the guest. He's absolutely right. And that's what I've been trying to exhort to all the listeners out there on different shows and everything, that we have to look at this history with an unbiased mindset and not take it personal what we're learning, or we won't be able to see what's really going on. We got to look at the negatives just as much as over the positives, and understand who and what time and why they say these things and whens and where, so we can figure it out and get through the secretion of it to get to the resolve. Like your guest,
yes,
he explained about no withdrawal, but a lot of people are going to get offended. But if they just look at it straight for what it is, you can see it without reading. Do you understand? You can see it for with common sense. You see what I'm saying? It's not that they are go ahead.
Hold on for a second. Dr. Ashante, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, you lost.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you hear me? Look at your board.
I'm looking at the board, and you keep popping in, and then you pop right back out.
Okay, I'm holding.
Okay, you're in. I see you. I got you. Hit number one. Hit number one, doctor.
Hit number one?
Yeah.
All right.
That'll hold you in. Yep. Now, we got a caller on the line, and he was agreeing with you. Are you still there, caller?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. Doc, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Express your question again, or your statement again, Sahir.
Well, my statement again, of all our monarchs, or all our messiahs and prophets that we had over here on this land called America, we have to assess the stress, the depression, and other things that they was made to get into, or what they had to accept to push this type of information about it. We can only usurp the information from these guys like Elijah Muhammad and the Nova Drali's and Booker T. Ross. Usurp the information that they was pushing and understand that they were still in a trap, no matter what, because we were not safe.
You're exactly correct. They were not aware of what they were doing, okay? So they didn't do it proficient, and they were giving very good advice, good programs. Except it could only take us to the door but never let us in.
Yes, it would always crumble. That's what, yes. All right. All right, caller, I appreciate your call. Doc, can you take another call right now, doctor?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. Area code 763-1137. Are you there?
Yeah, good evening. I'm enjoying it very much. I really like to hear the doctor expound on his theory that unless you know the other side, you only have one paradigm, and I grasped that statement when he said it. He was right on point. How can you understand the other side if you only know one side? If you only know Christianity, if you only know you said you don't have no God, and you lost people who were listening because they were like, "What?" And they didn't understand what you.
I did say I had gods, plural.
Yes, but they missed that.
But see, I knew I was going to lose them. I can't make up something and not tell the truth. And I know many people will be offended by what I said. It don't give me joy to run people away or talk down or something, so I don't. I accept everybody's religion. But if you're talking about empowerment, you can't fake empowerment. Ain't but one way to get to empowerment, and that's to have your own 10 building blocks of power with its content. That leads to a nuclear bomb every time.
Well, I'm really enjoying it. The fact that you wrote the Willie Lynch letter, I went around spreading it, showing it to people, and I did already sent your pic. I surfed you up. I got your book here in front of me as soon as you said it. I searched you up. I found you. Psychotechnical technology of brainwashing. I'm getting ready to send it to my son because he's sending around the Willie Lynch letter, and I want him to know that you wrote it. and when I told my wife,
did you see the price of that book on Amazon.com?
I haven't looked at it yet, but I'm getting ready.
It goes from $25. It goes from $25 to $600.
I didn't even know there was another Malcolm X book. I searched that one up too. The Diary of Malcolm X. I found that they selling that at Walmart. Believe it or not, Walmart is selling it.
Wow.
That's what I said when I saw it. That's exactly what I said. And it's $29 at Walmart.
Well, then after tonight, it's going to go up to $600. They're gonna try to
no, it's already been to $1,200. A new one's coming out in 1 month.
Man,
$1,200, brother.
And they used to sell my book at the Shrine of the Black Madonna in Detroit. It was a bestseller there. It's out now, but a new one is coming out in 1 month's time. Much better than the first that edition you have.
And what's the name of that book?
It's still called The Psychotechnology of Brainwashing, but it's dealing with Afrocentric healing of the lingering consequences of ancestral enslavement.
Wow.
The first one is like 315 pages. This one is almost 700 pages.
Wow. That's the one. All right, I'm gonna get off the line and let you brothers continue. I'm enjoying it greatly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, caller. Doc, are these books easy read books, or do we?
Yes,
have to
I wrote them for the common person. It's not a whole lot of scientific jargon. I try to write them for the common person. It's very easy.
All right. Okay. Well, we still have a question on the table, and I'm putting it out there, and that is, I'm really, well, I don't know I want to know where we can find more of this knowledge, because these titles are just too long to even remember, and it's difficult to even pronounce psychoanalyzed technology.
Okay.
So kind of keep in mind next time you write a book, just call it John Jumped Over the Fence, and something simple that we can go get it.
I hear what you say. However,
okay,
my books are used in universities too.
Okay, all right, I understand, but it's so powerful that we, the rank and file, get these books. See, I've always
I have a training program. I have a workbook how to run your own groups and so forth. That's why I wrote the book. People wanted to come down here to observe, but to undo it is not just having the knowledge. It's a process. You have to. It's like developing a picture. You just do the knowledge, you'll miss it every time. You got to know how people what they can anticipate what they'll do when they're in a group. It's a process. It's there. It's knowledge and a process.
Is your information on your website? Can you give us your website?
Oh, I got a regular website, but it's kfashanti.com. I actually need somebody to help me put up a website. I got a website. It's there, but the writing is so small. kfashanti.com.
kfashanti.com.
You can put it up.
Yeah. What about email address? Do you have an email?
Yes. It's Kwabena, KWABENA, one word, Kwabena _ A is in Apple 2000 at yahoo.com.
KWABA _
No, KWABENA, Bena. BENA.
Yes. Okay.
That means that's Kwabena, the seat of Benad, my God. That's what my name means.
Okay. Seed of my God. Underscore A as in Apple 2000 at
yahoo.com. Mm-hmm.
Yahoo.
I'd love to hear from you.
Brother, I'm gonna tear you up. I'm gonna get you. All right. Now, we want to deal with this so-called oral history that we have, and then I want to speak on the Moors and our ancestors. Now, I don't know. Yes. I don't know how deep you'll go with that. Pangea all the way back.
I can go very deep.
Come on with it then, brother. I'm with it for you. Or do you want to take a quick break, or you want to keep rolling? I'd like to keep rolling tonight.
Let's keep rolling.
All right. Now, I know about the Olmec, and they have a history. The Europeans give them a history of 10,000, 20,000 BC, and then they come forward and mixed with the Dogons, the Aztecs, and the Ouachita, and then the Copper people, that type of thing. And when you look at the Olmec, you know he cannot be European. I know you ain't going to tell me he's European. That big head sucker better be black and come from the black race. So let's start. Say again?
He's from Mali. The Mali were the first Africans that's documented going to the New World of Mexico.
Okay. But so you got to be talking prior to the Pangea. Meaning when the earth was
I don't know what Pangea means.
Well,
you lost me with that.
All right, Pangea means that the earth was solid before the cataclysmic earth.
No, okay. I'm talking about after then. I'm talking about when they had to go across on the ocean itself.
Okay.
That's where the hurricanes come from, from the west coast of Africa, and the trade wind would, if you left there on a ship or a sailboat, it would take you straight to Mexico and Haiti.
Okay, that route is still there today. They talk about that route.
Yes, it's still there today.
Yes. So, but then they tell me that the ships themselves, you had to travel at a certain time. And we had the knowledge when to travel because the ocean was so violent that most people didn't make it in that route. But the one brother was telling me that we had the knowledge of the ocean, so we knew when to travel. Because the Atlantic Ocean is at night, it gets around 30 degrees, in the northern part where United States and Africa are adjacent. And then you've got a lot of hurricanes and tornadoes out there that makes it violent. And then you don't have the food to make it across, so it's difficult to understand how they came across that water, that water, and made it to Haiti. Can you explain or kind of get?
It's documented that 16 ships left Mali, and one ship returned because of what you say.
So
and now, let me just point out.
I was just going to say I'm
talking. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that throws a monkey wrench into this so-called Middle Passage when they were bringing millions of slaves, Africans out of Africa into the United States. That doesn't register with me. I can't see how that could happen.
It registers with me. See, we talking about so long ago. We talking about at least 1,000 years before the Atlantic slave trade began, with much more modern ships and everything, and much better routes. I would tell you that the person who showed Columbus how to get to Haiti, okay, he didn't come to America, he came to Haiti. It was a guy from Ghana who showed him how to get rode with him there. He's captain his ship. And if you go to Ghana to this bay down by the slave port, you will see a big concrete circle in the ground that points the way from Ghana to the United States.
Well, I was in Ghana in 95, and I saw the slave castles, and I saw the tunnels that they were supposedly walked out to the ships in.
Okay. If you go above ground on the right side, outside of the castle, that's where you will find that map.
And the map pointed to Haiti.
Well, it pointed to America. It pointed to America. I mean to the Western world. But you landed in Haiti.
Okay. Well, we were there in the winter month, like November, and all we saw on the horizon was tornadoes. That's a funnel. Is that the funnel? We saw hundreds of tornadoes just sitting out on the horizon, and then we learned that they were called water spouts. And then one or two would just peel off and head straight into Haiti, into the Caribbean, and just tear up everything in the Carolinas and all that kind of stuff. So I just couldn't visualize a marketable slave market bringing slaves out of Africa into America. I still can't visualize that.
Well, I don't have no problem because they were records kept, and there was over 12 million killed in Africa itself. And about another 12 million made it on the ships up from Senegal and from there to Rhode Island, to Charleston, to Washington, D.C., New Orleans, and down to Haiti and Brazil. And 95% of them went to Brazil.
Okay. Now, what year would you say a timeline? Give us a timeline.
I'm going back to 1500.
Okay.
1500.
Okay.
Started in 1500. And the United States started in 1619.
Yes.
And in Florida, about 1530.
Okay. You mentioned... Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You mentioned... all right. You mentioned Rhode Island and the Virginia and North Carolina. They had those docks. And they said that Rhode Island had one of the biggest docks for bringing ships in from cargo ships coming in. But now a lot of those ships were white slaves, so-called indentured servants that came in to set up this so-called 13 colonies.
Well, some whites, Irish in particular, were enslaved, but Africans also came into those same ports, especially in New York and Rhode Island.
Yes. Okay. Well,
I have studied the slave force in Africa, all the way around Africa. Okay, from Egypt all the way around to Ethiopia. Okay, and then I have studied the slave force over here in the United States, from Rhode Island all the way down to New Orleans. And okay, So you can connect. Harvard has many of the records now, even though it's computerized, and you can look at the slave force, what ethnic groups came out of and where they tended to arrive. If you notice, that blacks in certain states tend to be taller than most people, or tend to be shorter, or tend to be blacker, tend to be better athletes, and so that's because they weren't just bringing anybody here; it was very selective. Okay, so you had blacks who there were already growing corn and cotton, and that's and tobacco, and that's why they were growing over here. So they tend to bring them there. Then you had a need for carpenters and all that kind of stuff. So they didn't just bring anybody; they brought people who already had skills.
Well, why is it?
Many were college graduates, matter of fact.
Wow.
From the University of. Pardon me?
I wanted to know, why is it that blacks in America do not have papers? All Europeans in America have papers that came through Ellis Island, or they came through the immigration of 1790s and 1760s. They all have papers to come here, and they know their nationality. But when you start talking to black folks, we have no idea what our nationality is, and we know damn well don't have any papers to show that we came in through the Ellis Island. So how did that happen?
Because we were viewed as animals, and therefore the papers that we had belonged to the white people who bought us. So we had nothing.
Okay. Well, if that's true, then there were blacks here Because we just mentioned the Olmec. They didn't come in as slaves because the European was not here yet when you go back beyond 1400. So there were blacks and people of color, let's put it that way. There were people of color in the Americas before the slave trade started. Am I correct? Or
of course. Yes, that's correct. They were in Mexico and somewhere in Florida. Yes.
Yes.
And even in the Caribbean. Yeah, they were here.
Okay.
But they didn't turn into. But listen, this is very important to know. Africans didn't turn into Mexicans. They didn't turn into Indians, regardless of what the people who are into that theory is. If they were Africans, they stayed Africans. If a cat has biscuits, according to Malcolm X in China, if a cat have kittens in an oven, they still are cats. They don't turn into biscuits. But you got these people running around here talking they Wachita and all that kind of stuff. Whatever they were, fine. But I'm just saying we never turned into another race. We haven't done it in 400 years here. We've never turned into a race. We got people here who look down. I have sisters and brothers that's physically white. And even some of them have passed over for white in my family. But they didn't turn into, even though they look white, they still were African.
Yes. Well,
now so let's go back to you mentioned the Moors. Many of them like to talk about the Moors as though the Moors were some kind of ethnic group or tribe. The word, the Atlantic Ocean that the slaves were brought over was not the Atlantic Ocean at that time. It was called the Ethiopian Ocean. And the whole continent of Africa was called at one time Ethiopia. And then all blacks from the African continent that was in Europe, they all were called Moors. So when you say Moor, all you're saying is Negro. They don't tell you who people were, where they came from, none of that.
I've heard that. Yep.
That's a fact. I mean, it's a fact.
Yeah,
you find many whites today. If you in Europe, if you look at their coat of arms, you will see their name is Moor, and you will see black people in their coat of arms. For example, many whites, such as the Queen Elizabeth's grandmother, was half African, named Queen Charlotte.
Queen Charlotte, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So Prince Charles, right to this day, has ancestry in Africa. And they acknowledge it. They just don't come out and say she's black and all that. But if you ask the question, the computer will say, yes, show you her picture.
Well, I'm really lost now. You've destroyed all of my historical understanding. You haven't destroyed it, but you distorted it so that there's a lot of research I have to do, almost to get retaught. I got to be retaught.
Well,
again.
that's now you're talking about the synthesis of the product of brainwashing. That's what you're talking about. I was a victim of brainwashing, so every black in America is. There's different degrees of it. So there's nothing wrong with you, but you are what you were programmed to be. Especially when we had that ancestral education was never taught in school. We became victim of what we were exposed to.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be corrected though. I wish I can get the Black Caucus. Before Obama was elected president, there were 12 states, including the country of England, apologizing for slavery every 30 days. And when I recognized it, I said, my God, why does this keep doing this every 30 days?
Yes.
And
I recall.
Apologize for slavery. Then the whole Congress, Senate, and the House of Reps all apologized to slavery, brought by a Jew who was a congressman from Tennessee. And he said nothing in this apology can ever be used for reparations. However, training money will be made available. And to this day, no training money been available. I'm the only one that's trying to get asked for it in the first place, and the whole black Congress and Congress, they don't know what the hell we talking about here. But there is money, there's training money that they committed to, and I really wish I could get the kind of help to make a request at very least to the Black Caucus. The chairman of the Black Caucus is my frat brother from North Carolina, G.K. Butterfield. I wish that he would take the leadership and ask for it, the same way the Detroit congressman has been asking for it for years.
Yeah. John Conyers?
John Conyers, yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And because I have the methodology, I have the data, everything. It can be undone. And Obama, bless his heart, he didn't come from slavery. But he said you cannot just undo the products of slavery just like that. They said all the white liberals in America know that we brainwashed as hell, but none of them got the nerve to come out and say it. If you look at the apologies for slavery, look up the apologies for slavery by Congress, and read what they said in the words they said. It's the most horrific thing ever. But none of them use the word brainwashing. But if you look at the definition of brainwashing, it's embodied in the words that they apologize with.
Yeah, I've read it, but they don't. They said no reparations, and they said something else that was devastating. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, they all didn't sign it, or they didn't have enough to make it a resolution, or there was something wrong with it.
No, the whole Congress endorsed it. Congress, Anderson, the whole body in 1968. They all endorsed it, but who would come out and say I'm not going to endorse slavery? All of them did, but it went over our heads because we don't know what brainwashing is. And we didn't recognize, say, well, if you apologize that you admit that you brainwashed, you did this, then why don't all those Congress people, all these educated people we got come out and say, give us training money. We have people who can help us undo this.
Well, we still got agents.
Pardon me?
We still have agents that will fight you on that premise that you have a program.
Well, the thing about it, Jews have agents against themselves. Arab group has agents against them, but they don't let that stop them from moving forward.
Okay.
We will fight like hell to get rid of the Confederate flag and ignore like hell the American flag, where we've been under slavery all these damn years. The Confederate flag was up only 4 damn years. I mean, not the flag, but the Civil War was only 4 damn years.
Yep.
And the Christian religion has made us scared as hell.
Yeah.
We go out and you got people like ASHANTI marching us half to damn death.
Yep. Well, brother, I'm lost for words. I just can't put my thoughts together because I want to know, how do we get out of this? How do we live tomorrow? Where do we start? You got all my people. They're listening, and my chat room is full, and they're just listening. So give us something that we can start on tomorrow that can help thaw these brains or unbrainwash ourselves. How can we do that?
You can't do that. All you can do is what? 8 steps to brainwash somebody to start with, and they're done with it. Okay? Now, these steps, I could name them for you, but it's not going to mean very much. But let's see here. Okay. Okay.
Just give us an overview.
The first thing you have to do is physically contain a group of people, such as segregation, for example. On the races, you got to contain them. Then you got to confuse them. Then you got to emotionally and physically assault them, whoop their ass, starve them. Then you have to deprive them of shelter, clothing, shoes, etc. Then they got to finally confess, I'm weak. I don't know nothing. My culture is bad. Then you have to re-educate them. But when you re-educate them, you re-educate not in their own information, but into the white information at a lower quality. That's when, like, for example, we didn't become wholesale Christians in the United States until the 1940s, okay? And it's still being defined to this day, okay? If you notice, you don't hear a regular African-style Christian music no more. It's now white sounding. I remember when it changed. That's all you hear. They've been gradually being re-educated, okay, into white. And then you finally have to submit. You have to say, you are more powerful than me. I'll listen to you. I'll do whatever you say. Then identification. That's the 8. You have to identify with white people. If you want to compliment somebody, say, oh, you smart as Einstein. Or anything that's white, that's how you praise somebody. And then the final step there is mental side, or the depth of the brain or the mind. Now, to change it around, you got to go the same door, back out of the same door that you came in. You have to physically separate them. In other words, we have to go to facilities to get this training. Ain't nobody in there but black people.
Yes.
And 2, then you have to you have to do each one of these steps again, but put this time everything about it is African. Now I'm African. I'm about as African as I can be. I changed the whole thing, and I practice my reading everything. I have knowledge also of the Western culture. That makes me superior. That's why African white people know African culture, because they research every damn thing. But we so stupid to say, well, I ain't gonna learn. That's white stuff. That's easy. You can't defeat your enemy unless you know what your enemy is doing and interpret it.
Yes.
So it takes a minimum of 5 months to de-brainwash somebody for the first phase. Now, if you don't keep it up, then you won't go back to what you were, but you won't keep growing. So you have to do it, practice it another 5 months. If you did that, then it sticks. It's there. Okay? But you can't, this is not something you can listen to a tape and do. You got to experience it at the same time, listen to the redirection. Let me give you an example. You cannot you can't brainwash anyone, I don't care who it is, unless you use fear, F-E-A-R, must be present. Without the fear, you can't force them to do anything, okay? They're going to fight you. But if you pull a gun on somebody and say, you will this, and you stop them, you put through this whole process, they're going to finally submit to you, okay?
Yes. Yes,
now, so I'm going to give you an example of how I use fear. The first thing I do is give you the brainwashing test to test you to see if you're brainwashed. This is an item of 50 questions. 25 white culture, 25 African culture. It's not black history. It's a little of whatever you find in life, okay? And I can tell you that the average score on the brainwashing test is 80 made 5 on white culture and 8 EIGHT on the African culture. And if you score like that, that's with PhDs, MDs, drug addicts. They all score the same damn way. And if I give a test to white people, their scores look just like the scores of black people because they learn the same thing in school. I have rings and rings of data that I've been keeping over the years. If they ever got in court, I was going to use this data the same way this guy used the doll babies in Brown versus Board of Education.
Right. I remember.
Okay, now I'm just going to read 5 questions, okay? And your audience can listen to them, all right?
Is it the first question? Is it the black side or the white side? These 5 questions from the black. This is going to be you would know. If you can answer what you would know, okay? Who discovered America? That's question number 1. Yep.
Who was the first president of the United States?
All right.
What city is the capital of the United States?
All right.
Jesus Christ is associated with what religion?
All right.
What is the name of the creator who made heaven and earth? That's 5 questions. This test is designed to be used by people in the 5th grade all the way up to college or 100 years old. Okay, now I'm gonna read the same 5 questions from the African side. Okay, not the black side, because we ain't black. Very few Africans are black. We are different colors of brown and damn near white.
Yes.
Okay. Who discovered Africa? 2. Who was the first president of the first African country to become independent? What city is the capital of Ghana?
Right.
Legba is associated with what religion?
Wow.
Who is Mawu or Ludamare Oyemi? That's 5.
Yes.
Now, if anybody who your listener tonight can answer just these first 5 questions, I would like to hear, or who have the answers to them.
Yep. I got, of the last set, I got 1. Capital of Ghana was Accra. I got that one. The rest of them I didn't get. I didn't know.
Right.
And the other side, I got Washington, D.C. and Christianity. And United States, Christopher Columbus. I can put that in, but I know that ain't right, but that's what we were taught.
That's acceptable.
Yes. So,
and who is the creator who made heaven and earth? What you put?
God.
There you go.
God.
You got you made 100 on the white culture.
What about?
But on your own, you only made 4.
Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, so that's the first thing I have to do, the diagnosis. That test alone makes my work easy, because you convince yourself. You're amazed at that, because you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, and you can't answer. Yes. You say, what the hell? What's going on here? Somebody did something to me. You get angry as hell.
Yes. Wow.
And that and so African American Black Studies, African American History, so it teaches this stuff. That's why they don't allow it to be taught in school.
And that scale will always be at that percentage, as long as they control the schools and we send our children in there to so-called study. Okay. I hear what you're saying. You're right about that, but you can still change this by teaching this in your churches and in home. The answers are in the damn book. You see? Yes.
But, and I would tell you that the people who went through my training program, their grades went from down there up to A's. And the graduation rate was almost 90%.
Wow. So you taught them.
You got people who do this training and get all the contracts with the school system who really don't know a damn thing but what to do. Just call it Afrocentric. They can't spell Africa or Afrocentric. That's why they don't have no success in the programs in the high school. You have to get somebody who knows. We're the only group in the United States that certifies people in this stuff. There's a book out now. The name of the book is by Hassim Kambui. That's Kambui. Hassim Hassim, and he wrote a book called Afrocentric Schools, Charter Schools, and he's comparing the two. And what he found is in his book. It's unbelievable. Just because you call a rose a tulip, don't make it a tulip. Just because you say it's African, don't make it African. Okay? And that's the kind of stuff that's going. And just because you got a charter school, if you got a charter school, the only thing you change is the behavior, but you ain't changed the knowledge of the content, you ain't worth a damn.
Yes. Yep. How large is your group of people that we have something to look forward to?
I've had a group as large as 64 people, and I've had as small as 3 people.
Yeah.
Male and female. I've even had in several groups blacks from the United States, blacks from Africa, blacks from the Caribbean, whites. I had whites from France, and I've had whites from Korea. All in the same, teaching the same thing, except when I get to a white from Korea, I had to bring in stuff from their culture, you see. When I had whites from France, I had to bring in their stuff, and I don't know all the stuff, but I could go to the internet and pull it down. And that's how I would do it. So they were exposed to the same and got the same kind of damn results. I even use it as in my clinic. If I'm doing therapy, if I'm treating somebody who has psychological problems, this technique works.
So you could put this into schools in the first grade, and by the time they get to the 6th grade, they will be on their way to being geniuses in the community, or you know what I mean,
correct.
In the school system. Yeah.
That's correct. I have. There are 3 young ladies in South Carolina who I taught how to pray and how to say the blessing in African language, and they leaked that, and they learned it just like that, and they grew up with that. And so the parents can't do it, but the kids can, and are proud of them.
Right.
Same thing with mathematics. There's a mathematical game that has, I think it's like 8 round holes on the left side and 8 round holes on the right side, and you put 4 marbles or rocks in each one. And you can play that game, and it'll automatically have you knock the cap off a mathematics test. Almost all Africans from Africa know this game, and that's why they're so good in science and mathematics.
Yes. Wow. Well, Doc, is it possible for me to get you back on the show again? Can I invite you to come back?
Sure. I seem like I've been jumping all around the place, but I would really love to be back your show.
No. I think what you're doing, you are stimulating thought in that we got to do some research so we can ask questions. I'm finding it difficult. I'm doing pretty good, throwing out some questions, but I want to get a little more research so I can get deeper into some of these subjects that you're bringing up. You're so well versed, and so you're out there, brother. That's all I can say. And I think it would be good to have you back again.
I would love to do it. And matter of fact, when my new book comes out, and I'll be going on a book signing tour, and I would definitely make Detroit one of my stops.
Well, then, brother, we will do a live show when you come to Detroit. We will definitely do a live show, and I'm going to get to you on your website and your phone number I got that, and I'll be in touch with you.
Thank you so much.
Yep, and I'm blessed to one second. Yeah, yep. We were going to segue into. I'm gonna have to call the Empress. She went off the line because we were flowing so good, and we wanted to segue into Haiti and the Dominican Republic. And maybe you got a few comments on that right now, in regards to
yes. Haiti and the Dominican Republic is on the same island. The left side is Haiti, the right side is the Dominican Republic. Both are African people, except on the right side where the Dominicans are, they have more white blood in them. They're lighter skinned, and they deny that they're African. And so, therefore, the Haitian on the other hand are darker skinned and proud of being African. And so, therefore, they went to get more favors from white people. Even in the New York and places like that, they deny that they're black. And what they're doing in the Dominican Republic is worse than what they did in South Africa. The whites against the blacks. It's a shame.
It's a disgrace. So, but where did they get that from? Who split that island?
From the brainwashing of their white daddies and mamas.
Wow.
That's where they came from.
The French were in there in 1800s, real heavy, with Napoleon.
But yes, those were the whites that did it.
Wow. Now that goes back to your Willie Lynch.
Exactly.
That's perfect.
If you notice in the Willie Lynch letter, I said Willie Lynch was from Jamaica.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Wow, man. And then Toussaint Louverture, who ran Napoleon out of there, he must have been on the Haitian side, or eventually
he was Haitian. It was no Dominican then. It was only after they defeated and ran the rest of the lighter skin, thinking that they're better than the dark skins, went over there. That's a case of that might be the first documented case of where the white light skin think they're better than the dark skin. I would tell you this, however, though, in South Carolina, back during slavery, the lighter skinned blacks was redefined by the whites as another race. And so they were allowed to have slaves too. But they found out that the light skins started cooperating with the blacks, so they couldn't trust the light skin, and they took it back from them. But that belief, though, that we are better than you because our hair is straighter, we're lighter, that's the source of it.
Wow. And that seemingly was what your thought was when you put that letter together, because it was.
I was heavily influenced by what a lot of the stuff that I read about other authors have written about. So I just fashioned and shaped it, and gave all the credit to the person I made up called Willie Lynch. There's a city about 60 miles from where I live called Lynchburg, Lynch, Virginia. Yes. That's where I got the name Lynch from.
Yes. And racism.
And Willie is the name that we used to call every black. Hey, Willie. Now, also, if you look at Facebook, you see the word nigger thrown around so damn much. We can't get rid of it because the hip-hop community and the young people has embraced and adopted that word for us as nigger. And to try to say that we spell it N-I-G-G-A, which is different than N-I-G-G-E-R. And they got white people saying so, but they are the ones, they are on the wrong side. And we have to send the people on the wrong side a message, the same way we send it to the Confederate flag. Don't buy the records of anyone who used the word nigger. Don't buy it. That's how you send them a message.
Wow. Well, you know, they had some a couple of DVDs out talking about a god in Malaysia back in the jungles, and they showed pictures of their temples, and the word nigga was part of the god's name was nigga. Now,
but they didn't mean it didn't mean it. That, yes, you got words like that. You got the Niger River, but it don't mean bad like here. So even though it's spelled similar, it's not from there. It's a name created by the white supremacists in America, and it means every negative. When we heard that, when we called nigger by any white person, we was prepared to die. That word. And these young people, they ignore us, and we haven't been training. My kids never say the word. I have a son that's 46 and one that's 44. And neither one has never used that word. Matter of fact, if you use that word around them, if you were their girlfriend, they would quit you. It had nothing to do with you. But their first cousins came up in a house where they did use it. And it's different as night and day between them.
Wow. Well, I was told that anything historically that was good for the black man, European psychology would reverse it and make it evil, and vice versa. If it was bad, they made it good. And by them controlling all of our knowledge and education and brainwash, we fell right into it. So the word nigger...
That's correct. Whoever controls the mind will control the behind. And whoever names your God for you will rule you.
Yes. Whoa. What are the black? One of the last questions I'll ask is, what do the black ministers say when you talk in their presence? I know you don't bite your tongue or cut back.
I have done training in seminaries. Okay. Now you have different kinds of preachers in the church. Most people don't know this, because if the preachers talk like I talk, I know this, they get run out of their own church. Okay? That's true. Martin Luther King know what I'm talking about, but he didn't say it. He learned it in Boston University, okay? Now, I have done a seminar in South Carolina. I think there was 86 preachers in there. And when I was coming, they really didn't want me in there. One of them told me that. But when I got up, and you could look on their faces, their stand and so forth, they didn't like it. And gradually they started leaning forward, and then they really got into it, and I shook them up bad. They recognized that their whole career was on the damn line, and they had to make a damn choice. Keep that career, make that money, or get out and change. And I would tell you 99% of them did not change. But they certainly got the information. Teach what I'm talking about at Harvard and Yale. They don't teach what I'm talking about at the black colleges or schools of religion. They don't.
Hello, Doc. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We were disconnected.
Okay.
All right. Mm-hmm. You were saying you had 86 ministers in the seminar?
Yes, I did, male and female. And when I talk, I tell this information they did not want to hear. It got very angry at me. But gradually they start listening now, but they hear things they never heard before. Especially when I start talking about the Book of the Dead stuff, they didn't know it even exists. Gradually they leaned forward, and gradually all of a sudden they gave me a standing ovation. But they didn't change because their livelihood depended on them living a lie and practicing white supremacy on their own people.
I understand.
And that's what Reverend Wright is doing. That's what all preachers are doing, whether they know it or not.
And they all know.
But I'm saying the religion itself for the people created is a great religion. I don't talk about it, I don't put it down. But I'm just saying, if we want to empower ourselves, we have to go back to our own African religion.
We got bad connections. So I want to get you back on the show. How soon is your book coming out?
In 30 days.
30 days. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in touch with you prior to that, but we'll look for a good day to get you back on. And
thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be on your show.